Good morning, Richard Eckley here. Happy Monday morning. Another weekend has flown by. Here we are. It's a frosty one here in Swansea. A frosty Monday morning. But we're on a Health Monday on your 4 keys to a healthier, happier you. And the question today was, how can you help your mental health? Which is such a vital, important one nowadays. And we all have our own sort of belief system, which we've carried through us since we were kids. We've had our mental health, if you like, our mental sort of patterning we've had since we've grown up. Our belief system comes from our parents, and our grandparents actually goes back generations through the DNA switches that comes through. We're not going into that today. But yes, so our belief system is what actually controls what we think about things. It goes back to us when we was growing up. And we've carried on these belief systems all our life. So when we're thinking about things perhaps aren't going right or things aren't going quite the way we thought in our life, we're always referring back to the same pattern because we haven't changed our belief system from what we was growing up. So if you had sort of quite a negative experience growing up, we're going to carry on with a negative mindset. And we are living in a negative world. So we do have a lot of sort of challenges to actually change our mental health for the better. Because as I said before, all the newspapers, all the TV, everything is very negative when you get, and all that negativity is going into our minds, into our brains, and into our subconscious. And that's what our brain refers back to all the time. If it's trying to make a decision on anything, it refers back to the subconscious past memory to decide what it's going to do for the future. And if most of all that is negative, then you're not going to do anything positive with it, because all you've got is negative emotions and negative memories to try and work off. So we need to try and change our mental health by putting positive memories in there. And the only way we can put positive memories in there is by us deciding to start putting positive things going into our mind. And the only way you can really do that is to actually start reading positive books. As I said before, personal development books are amazing. They just read them, just a little 15-minute read a day. Get some positive going in there, or an audio. If you can listen to an audio, perhaps a podcast or a favourite like radio show. There's a positive radio show, something that's actually going in there, giving you some positive mental feedback into your mind, because that's how you develop your beliefs long term. It's on a small daily basis, putting a little positive input into our mind. That's what gets stored for long term memories. So I said before, if you're reading a good book, that'll just help so much. That'll get you going that way, and just then to actually think about, right, what are my current thought patterns like? Stop and actually write down what your thought patterns are, what your belief systems are. And you can quite often see you quite often start off with a negative one. You can see your sort of like most of your belief systems can be quite negative, because that's what experiences we've had. But you need to then try and transfer it onto the positive ones. What positive ones? If you write down the negative feelings you are having at the moment, by the side of that, then write down the opposite, if you like, positive things. So if you're saying I'm feeling rough and feeling ill, well, in the week I'll start to feel better. I can start to get healthy again. If I'm finances, I've got no money, the money's going down, it's all going away. What can I do to start to develop an extra income? What can I do to actually perhaps save some money? What can I do to develop something for the future? So you need to actually list out the negative things you're having on one side, but then put the positive ones on the other side to counterbalance them. Because once you start to get onto the negative side, you focus on that negative side, and it just sends you down a worse path. But if you then transfer your mindset to a positive one, say, right, they've got this negative situation here, what can I do myself to actually change that round? Just a small little step I can do today to change that negative to a positive, and then enhance it. And then think, right, then so this week I can do perhaps that one positive step. What can I do next week to increase that slightly, just slightly? I said before, it's like with your health, your physical health, your mental health is just as important. It's starting off little steps to start off with, which you develop over time for bigger steps to get you a much more positive attitude and increase your mental health. And once your mental health is better, your whole life improves. Because as I said before so many times, we're a mind with a body, not a body with a mind. So we get our mind right, we can get our body right, we can get our whole life right. But it all starts up in here, in that little 6 inches between our ears. And that's what we need to get right. Get the mental health working right first of all. And it's only by what we're putting in. We decide ourselves. Said self-responsibility, self-education is vital in this day and age. And it's down to us to try and combat all the negativity that's around there. There is negative everywhere. You can't deny it. It's just negative everywhere. But unless we start to choose to actually get some positive in there, we're just permanently feeding this negative feed into our minds all the time. So our mind can only work with what we give it. It's like the food we eat. The bodies can only work off the food we eat. The stuff we put in our mouth is what our body's going to create into the cells, into everything else. So if we're putting rubbish in our mouth, we're going to have an unhealthy body. Same with our minds. If we're putting rubbish in our minds, we're going to have an unhealthy mind. So we increase our mental mindset. We need to put positive in there, read some good books, and even start yourself like a new course or something totally new, something fresh to get your mind working on. So if you start to develop a new course, start to take a new course or start a new hobby or anything new, something creative, gets your mind flowing, gets the juices going, and that helps so many different areas of our life. gets the brain switched on again, and it gets us out of that negative mindset into a positive one. That's my little thought today on Health Monday. Have a good thought today, have a good feeling today, and keep warm today. Have a good one. All the best.